Hey guys, check this out. Listen to the drums. Specifically pay attention to the kick and snare. Broad tracks, just in case. Now, listen this. So on the video, let's see how I change, these raw tracks. Play with no click track. Very, this is no programming drum. This is a real drummer. Okay, how to go to almost nothing special to now you can define the kick and snare. Okay, so let's start it. So everything started because one of my subscribers, his name is I get it right here, is Spectre 5022. Okay, he asked me. You will see the question right here, but it's in Spanish, so I'm going to translate you.
Como dices, no habla español. Un momento. Estoy hablando español.
So he pretty much said, "Hey, I discovered your channel. It's pretty cool. I really like it. I still need to, watch all your videos. But I have a question. Please, could you tell me what kind of plugins do you use for drums? Especially which plugins do you recommend for example, for black metal or death metal? Because everything you do sounds so brutal. Thank you." So this made me think. And then I said, yeah, sure, why not? I will make a video just specifically for kick and snare. This is the plugins I use. So here in Pro Tools, these are all the plugins I use. Plus, I using some external thing. I will tell you at the end what you can do if you don't have this analog gear, but this is the way I do. Okay. So let's see. Let me bypass everything. Okay. So let's bypass everything. In the meantime, I will tell you, this is the band Bordy here. This is the first album we did years ago. Yeah, this was back in the pandemic era. Okay, that was in 2020. Yeah. And it's only two guys. Now we are working in a second album. Okay. We pretty much record everything. We need to record the vocals and bass. That's gonna be in July, but the rest is already done. Just waiting for my dude Chris. Chris is the main guy right now because this time was Jake and Chris, but Chris now is the only guy. See, this is like a one now. In that time was two, but now he's like a one band man. Okay, one man band. Yeah, there is. Okay, so yeah, so let's see. First of all, let me show you this. I always record with two mics in the kick, and also in the snare. I don't remember which mic I use for this one, but let's see. Okay, let's see, because that was like a 6 or 5 years ago. So as you see here, this is not aligned. It's in phase, yes, but see, it's not aligned because I have one mic inside and also I have one mic outside. So you see this space. So this is a time this other mic we capture the sound. So this really is this mic gonna capture the sound before than this one because it's physically it is here and the other is outside. Same with the snare. Let me show you the snare. There is the snare. Same with this. This is maybe, yeah, this is in phase 2. Sometimes I get lucky to put the mic in phase, sometimes not. That's something you have to do in post, okay? But you see that it doesn't start on the same time. So for this kind of situation, but depends. Like I always told you, depends of the what kind of band is. Is something more classical, more you know, not classical as like a Mozart or Beethoven. No, something more like a not very technical. I can live without it, but we need something more technical. For example, for black metal or death metal in general. Depends. There is some black metal that is more raw, but there is another black metal bands they require. They ask me, hey, I want to sound more clean. I use this plugin. It's Outline. So I will not talk about this mainly, but this is alignment. This will detect the align and the polarity. So just with one click, I got everything aligned. Okay. So let's listen the kick. Okay. Let's let me sorry. Yeah. This is the mic in. No, just with this one. Okay. Because the plugin works like this. So this one sent to this other one to see. No, so I captured this one, for example, because you have like how many channels? 8 channels, no, 9. Okay, so I sent the first one. This one I captured the first send. So this means this is the kick out, and this already done. So this is like a 5 centimeter, 5 inches away. Okay, so let's see how it sounds. This is just a kick, okay? With no processing, we are using just the outer line, okay? Let's see, without, and then you will see the difference, okay? That's with. So more sound like a morning phase. You can feel it right now. Without. So I started with this. So no, okay, cool. Now everything's in phase and also online. Cool. Let me stop this. So after you listen this, it doesn't do anything. It's just alignment and phase, these two tracks. You can use this for anything. You can use it even for vocals if you want, for bass, guitars, snare, whatever you want. Okay. So yeah, the next one is the now I start to mixing for real. Okay. So check this out. The next plugin, this is pretty much is I told you this plugin before. I using the SSL the 4000E by Plugin Alliance. Okay, I mean by Plugin Alliance. And then check this out about the difference between the channel strips, because I don't want to talk about deeply about this, but if you watch that one, you will understand why I put the gain, why I choose the THD more. And let's talk about this. So in this case, I'm using what, like a 92 hertz ADB with bell. I prefer the black EQ instead of the brown EQ. I cut in around 400 hertz. I add in like a 4.6 kilohertz. Add like I boost in like a what, like a seven decibels, 8 decibels on bell. All these moves, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter because depends of the kick, depends of the mic you use. But this is why I was doing this, okay? And also I filters, a little bit compression, and a little bit of gain. So check this out. And let's do the same with this one, okay? It's almost the same thing, okay? Check this out. This is the kick without the Q. So this is the Q. So this is gain, EQ, and compression, and filters. Check this out. Now it starts to sound more like a kick. This is without. Now have body, have more attack, have more definition. Nice. The next step is this one. I use a drum leveler on both. Okay, so sounds pretty cool, but even sound way better. So check this out. All right, so the drum leveler is pretty much it's gonna make the the kick or snare make it sound more continuously. It's like a mix of the compression and also limiter, but this wanna make the sound, for example, in this case, the kick more like a trigger. It's gonna be very consistent, okay? And also you have, I never use this part, but you have this like a is extra gate. Okay, so check this out. Let's check it out on the kick in. Okay, this is without. With actually sounds way more aggressive, right? Now with the kick out, you can feel it, right? It sounds more like a trigger now, but it's a natural kick, which is pretty cool. So I don't have to use a trigger, so I can use the real kick, and then that's the reason your recording and your mixing will have personality. Will not sound like another else, you know. All right, let me stop this. All right, the next plugin I use. This plugin I use sometimes, sometimes no, I but for this in particular video, and then like I said, depends of the project, depends of the band, depends of so many variables. But this plugin is for what's the name? Black Soul Audio. I bought it on last Friday. It was in a very cool deal. This is the silencer. Okay, okay. Yeah, that one. Actually, I didn't know that open the owner's manual. Huh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, cool. So this plugin is yeah, it's gonna silence everything. It's gonna take out all the bleed. It's gonna make it sound everything pretty cool. So you will have only the kick information without another extra hits and everything. So it's pretty cool tool. With this one you can use for kick, snare top, snare ball, and also for toms in general. Okay. So check this out with, without, and with. Okay. Check this out. You can feel the bleed of the snare and the hi-hat with. You see, have some a little bit there, but it's fine. It's not that crucial. Okay. I have that. Check it out with. Ooh, the light is off. 1 second. I'll be back. Okay. Now listen with the bow kick. You see, have something there, but it's fine. It's fine. So don't worry. You know why? Because you have the rest of the information that the kick on the overhead room. Let me put the kick. I mean the overhead room. So the information you lose from the kick is in the overhead and also the room as you listen. But I want the kick super snappy and like a trigger mode to get that kind of vibe. This is without. Sounds super weird, right? Sounds awful in some way. But that's the reason you have to mix, not always in solo, you have to mix with the whole thing. Sometimes it's like you have to back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, okay? Let me stop this. Yeah, so I will repeat that again because that information is super key, okay? You need to mix, try to mix 50-50, more 60-40, okay? 60% listen with the whole thing to see if your changes you do make sense with the whole song, and also mix it in solo to listen in more perspective what are you doing there, you know. So yeah, so this is what I said. And also use one other plugin, which is this one. This is the Neutron by Awesome. There is another plugin. I don't remember the name of the plugin, but it's a plugin Alliance. I was thinking to buy that one for this specific thing, which is this is key. Whole key is a tracing shaper. The plugin Alliance plugins have a different name, but it's pretty much the same. And then I remember, oh, what's it go? Why waste money with something I have already? So this transient shaper I using precise, more attack, less sustain, and you will see how everything has way more power. So check this out. We had, let me, there it is. Now let's put the other kick. Now with the whole drums. Now it starts to sound like a kick. All right, let me stop this. So I do two more things, but now I go in another realm. Okay, I use extra compression, and then also I use the BBE. Okay, I make a video for the BBE, how to use the BBE, the sonic maximizer for kick, snare, and also for, you can use it for toms too, but I have a video for that, so check out that video, because I'm not going to talk about specific about that, but yes, so I use the DBS 160X as a whole thing, as compressor whole thing, and then I go to the BBE, and then you will see the difference, okay, so check this out. Listen with the overheads. And now I will show you with my iPhone what I'm doing. Here you go. So, right here. Check it out without. Oh, because I'm recording, I can put it without. Yeah. But I can do this. As bypass. Whole thing. Put this here. Okay, cool. Let me stop this, because at the end I go show you again with and without, and then you will listen more in definition what the compression and the BB is doing. But I'm pretty sure like you can get it right. So now moving to the snare. Okay. Yo, don't forget to give me a like, to subscribe, and share this. Also, don't forget, I can mix and master your band online. So just send me the tracks and then I will do all the magic. So back to the video. The snare is pretty much the same. I'm using pretty much the same plugins, but in a different way. So out online to align those two microphones. And then I use the same SSL, but now I boosting and cutting in a different way. For example, I boosting in 200 hertz, I cutting around 500. Yeah, I boosting 7K, nothing on top. I using the filters, a little bit compression, a little bit VO gate, and that's it. The next is gonna be the drum leveler, of course, in a different way, in a different approach, because it's a different instrument. Silencer on mode, snare top. Here's gonna be a snare bottom, and also the neutron. Here is different now. I'm using this. I'm bypassing it that way. Precise attack, more attack, less sustain, sharp. But the snare bottom is totally different. It's balanced, but now it's the opposite. It's more sustain, less attack. Why? This is a trick. When you use that, you have more sound for the bottom. It will not conflict with the other one, and then you will listen the snare more balanced. So use this trick. Okay, this is a real trick now. Okay, the rest is like a regular processor, like a EQ compressor and extra compressor and the trenching shaper. You know, everybody's doing that for years, so it's nothing crazy here. The only crazy here is just this. Okay, so let me bypass this and let's go both listeners one by one, and then you will see how it changed everything. Okay, so check this out. Line, SSL, drum leveler, silencer. Ah, and now we can go further with analog gear. So let me stop this. Now in analog domain, I using the Lindell, the 7X500, which is knockoff of the 1176 compression. It's not the same thing, but working the same way. And the BBE too. I make a video about this, so check it out. Okay, I won't talk about deeply in that one. I have already that the Snare video, so listen with these two. Wait a second. Just snare in solo. Check this out. Now I will show you with the iPhone how this looks. Now with the whole drums on mix. Check this out here. The waveform is very weak, but when we open it, I have now precise. Precise. Without triggers, natural drums. And this applies to thrash metal, death metal, black metal. Yeah. So let me stop this. Hey, I'm here editing the video, and I realized I didn't say which plugin you can use for the analog processor. So do the same. So you have, for example, if you have two mics for the kick, send it to the group, send it to the auxiliary, and then you can use any compression. For example, it could be 1176 or the LA3A or the 160. It doesn't matter, but it has to be very snappy compressor, okay? And then for make it sound similar as the BBE, I don't remember right now if I say that in the video, but the BBE have their own plugin. I never used that one before, so I don't know how we sound, but there's a plugin for Plugin Alliance. The name is Vitalizer for the brand SPL. So go to the website of Plugin Alliance and buy that one. That one is a little tricky to use, but the results are pretty much similar as the BB. Okay, so back to the video. So I don't use nothing crazy. Probably you see another YouTubers doing crazy stuff, like another way. Have no, I see like a weird stuff they doing works for them. Yeah. But in my case, with that, I'm pretty cool. And actually, that's basic. It's pretty much EQ, compression, and gate. It's pretty much that. And trash shaper. Four basic things. Maybe I expect again, that's his name. I totally forgot. Maybe he have a question right now. Maybe he asking, but what if I use MIDI drums? You can do the same thing. Yes, you can shoot the MIDI drums too. Okay, but all this depends how the drummer play. If the drummer play pretty cool, if the drummer is very precise, it's gonna be even way more easier to do this. Yeah, and yeah, but you see, the recording is fine. It was like a 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So my recording things are not as good as right now. This is 5 years of difference, 6 years of difference of recording. But even I can make it the drum and the kick sounds precise, doesn't change the volume. If I change the volume here, there, I can automate it, but it's going to be minimal. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy this. I hope you learn something and also see this in a different approach. Not everything have to be a trick to sound the way you want.